Yeah, I'm doing good. I was just trying to question things.
Yeah.
Like, for example, the other day I found myself making some coffee and I just realized, like, when did I choose to do this? Like, you just, like I never had the free will to decide I want coffee. It just happened.
Excellent.
I just wonder about like the locality of consciousness. I have a hard time to believe that, consciousness is not inside the body seeing. Like it feels like there is a me or consciousness seeing through the eyes.
Yeah,
Caring.
that
Because I feel like if it was outside, then I would see the whole of my body, like have 360 vision or something. I don't know.
yeah, that notion comes from me first, then consciousness. And it's consciousness first, then the me arises as a result of consciousness. If there's no consciousness, there'd be no arising of thoughts of a me in the absence of consciousness. But in the absence of the arising of thoughts of a me, consciousness isn't affected.
Right. And who is asking?
Yeah. It's yeah, like to try and grasp this dualistically or with the mind, it's impossible. It simply can't be done. Simply can't be done. But for a while, we will attempt to do that. There's always a natural attempt to try and grasp this, to get this, to understand this. There's not even an inside and an outside.
Right.
That's dualistic straight up. Well,
yeah.
In and out. Yeah. That
The
doesn't
happening, the easing, the happening includes the body.
Everything.
Right.
A thought, everything.
So just like a movie.
Pretty much. The only problem is we think we're starring in the movie, where in actual fact we're sitting in the cinema with a bag of popcorn and a Coke, watching it, and have forgotten that we're literally sitting in the cinema watching the movie. Totally forgotten. Now we're in the movie, playing a starring role in the movie. Whereas the truth is, it's being watched. Like that moment that you had in regards to the coffee. You didn't make a decision. It just happened.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whereas once you would have been absolutely convinced that, of course, I made a decision to make a coffee. Who else would have? Which is, it's a reasonable assumption until you start picking that apart and seeing what's actually happening.
Yeah.
I've often said, like, we think we're in charge of the body. Yeah. We think that it's me that's doing that, me that's waving. And then we also think, I'm walking down the street. Man, my me ain't intelligent enough to be able to do something like that. It doesn't have the smarts. It literally doesn't, the personal self doesn't have the intelligence to be able to walk a body down the street with everything that's involved, bipedal, upright, not falling over, perfectly, purely balanced. This beautiful rhythm of walking. If I had to think about doing that, I couldn't compute everything that needs to happen for that to occur. So walking is just happening. Yet we think I'm the walker. I'm walking down the street. And we can be walking down the street and be a million miles away, lost in thought, completely like asleep in a dream. The body's still
And in that dream, there will be another me.
Yeah. Well, another me, another thought
of me.
Yeah, it's just the personal self arises as a thought, and then another thought takes that thought personally. There's no me here. There's no me here taking thoughts personally. There's no me here observing thoughts. There's no me here that goes, oh, I noticed that the coffee just kind of happened. I didn't make a decision to. That's not a me saying that. There's no me there.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah.
Yeah. Yet the speaking, I'm not necessarily saying this in your case, Akash. The speaking will very much sound like there's a me here. Yeah. Until that just changes. Now there's no one here, and speaking just happens. There's no one speaking. There's no personal self speaking. Speaking just happens, along with everything else, along with thoughts that arise, the body moving about. No room for the me. It's not a great loss anyway. It's just a thought.
It can be scary at times, I feel like.
Yeah, but that's a thought too.
Yeah.
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 And this is what can keep the whole play in motion. Because that thought, it can be scary at times. That's personal. That's me that's fearful. There's no me there that is fearful. All that happens is another thought arises and says, it can be scary at times.
Yeah.
Honestly,
so what about,
that's all that's
so
happening.
let's say me says, I am angry at someone. Does the anger, like, is the anger just happening? Or is there no anger?
Just happening. But it might not be called anger.
Right. It's just sensations.
It's just what's happening.
Yeah.
I changed the label. Both labels are incorrect, but I changed the label from anger to assertion. It's just assertion. An assertion of an energy.
And it feels like it flows more quickly, like you're just gonna get over it, or well, not that there is someone to get over it, but it just goes away quickly. Like,
yeah, it's just next. Next.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, if the seeming me seems like it's operating, there could be a moment of anger that gets expressed. Yeah. And then the me goes into, or the mind goes into a big story immediately after it. Oh, damn, did I overreact? I probably overreacted. That wasn't very nice of me. I shouldn't have said that. God, when am I going to get this anger under control? Blah, 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 blah. All thoughts.
Yeah.
Keeping the whole show going.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're not the director of the show. We're not the writer of the show. We're not the producer of the show. Zero. That's just happening. Tell me it's not. And man, like, if you were the producer or the director, you'd change it. Come on. You'd change it.
I was kind of pondering about that the other day, that the story, the personal story, can never be perfect. Like, there's no end to it.
Yeah.
You know, like, you spend the present moment just fixing that story. That's all we do.
Yeah.
And yet you can't even do that. It's just imagination.
Yeah. There's no end to duality. It's like a pendulum on a grandfather clock. It's got to swing back the other way. That's its nature. It's got to swing back the other way.
And it's just labels. You're just looking for better labels. You're just looking for better description to add to the me in the story.
Yeah.
Because you can't really get anything.
Mm. One of the 3 words I used to hate used to bother me immensely, and that was, I don't know. Now they're my most favorite 3 words ever. I don't know. And the freedom in that is awesome. Yeah. And it just kind of, it's like it sets you up for excitement for next. But I hated, I don't know. Hated it. And usually, you know, hopefully, that's kind of where you arrive just before the lights turn on, as such, with a profound acceptance of, I don't know. I just, it's like a surrender. I don't know. And up to that point where it's still trying to work it out, still trying to get it, still trying to piece the bits together, the words together, that's all. You know. Must have missed something.
When you say there's no such thing as now, do you mean for the person?
I mean, literally.
I mean,
literally.
So what's this?
Ah. That's the
Well, this is
$1 million question. That's the $1 million question. See, that question, this is what the me can't handle or the mind can't handle. Yeah. That question has no answer. That's the truth. The no answer is the truth. Any answer is going to be a concept. Any answer. Any answer is going to be a concept.
So now it's just a concept.
Isn't it? What's let's look at that. Tell me what now means. Here comes the concept. Here comes the story.
Yeah.
Can you see that starting to form?
I do, but it feels like it's close to this. It's like the closest. I don't know.
I understand, but that's not totally not true either. It's not close to it, and it's not far away from it.
Right.
It's neither of those two things. There's no gap anywhere. Yeah. Close would just imply a smaller gap.
Yeah.
There's no gap. Yeah. It's okay. Like, we're a bit restricted because all we have is language, which is dualistic by nature. Yeah.
Yeah.
Kind of have to accept that and then use that. That's why sometimes I say, man, don't believe a word I say. Don't place one belief in any word that you hear being expressed. I'm trying to take you beyond that word.
Which is just experiencing it.
Yeah, and here's the paradox. There's no one to experience it. There's no person to experience it. And even what I'm about to say is incorrect. Yeah. And you are that experiencing. Now the mind will make a concept around that statement. It will just build a concept around it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I can kind of see that happening.
Yeah.
Trying to understand what you said. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
Thanks.
Even it just is, or it's just this.
Yeah.
That'll
Yeah,
be
because
that will be an attempt to try and describe or point to something that's not describable and something that can't be pointed to. Still an attempt.
Yeah.
Yeah. You can't point to it. It's not that way. It's not that way. It's not that way. It's not. There's no location. But mind wants to try and create a location. Why? Because it works dualistically. It's got to have a location. No, it doesn't.